Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Hi, welcome to the Inspired and Empowered Living TV show. We're live on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern on W4WN.com and Talk4TV.com. Today, we are going to talk about healing and clearing fear and anxiety. Are you ready to have an inspired and empowered life? As we talk about healing, clearing fear and anxiety, we'll continue where we left off last week. What do you do with fear? We all experience fear, and most of us don't even know what to do with it. Find out how to manage it and clear it, so that you can live an inspired and empowered life. You can also learn the 3 principles of how to deal with your fear, the difference between past, present, and future fear, and discover the #1 mistake that would keep you from a life you love. I'm Nanci Deutsch, your host, licensed clinical social worker, certified hypnotherapist, and intuitive breakthrough expert. I combine my counseling, coaching, and intuitive abilities to help you transform your life. Together, let's create a life you love. And we have Marie in the house. Good morning, Marie. And Wise Healing, Janelle. Good morning. Welcome. And if you would like to join us in the chat for questions, Gina, good morning. I just met Gina on Sunday. So welcome. It's so good to see you. So if you'd like to join us, if you're listening live and you want to view and come into the chat room on YouTube, what you do is you go to Talk4TV.com and you go into view live, and then you will be able to be in the YouTube so that you can join us for questions, comments, and I love to hear from you. And we've got Sandy in the house. Good morning, Sandy. All right. Welcome all. It's so good to connect with you. So last week, we talked about healing and clearing fear, part 1. So I talked about stress and what stress is. And then I started with the 3 principles. Now, the first principle is all about awareness. And we got Carol in the house. Hey, Carol. And it's all about awareness and being able to bring yourself back into the awareness. Because what happens very often is that you get so caught up in the fear, or if you're in the anxiety, and sometimes it could be the same, like it could be so connected, you're not sure whether it's the fear or the anxiety or both. And you get so caught up in it that you forget to realize that it's an experience and a feeling you're having in the moment. So the most important thing that you can begin to do is become aware. Become aware of the yourself. Become aware of your breath. Become aware of your body. It is in the awareness and bringing yourself back into present time, because that's what happens with awareness, is the ability to bring yourself back into present time. So everybody, how about let's start with a belly breath. And the way that I define a belly breath is I still need to do this, even though I do this all the time, is I like to put my hands on my belly. And when you breathe in, your belly goes out. And when you let go and you exhale, your belly goes in. So belly out, exhale, belly in. Belly out, inhale, belly in on the exhale. So if you want to share how that was for you, definitely let me know if that helped bring you back into more present time. And I talked briefly about the ability to feel your emotions, handle your emotions. All of that is so crucial when you're dealing with fear and anxiety. And I will tell you from client after client, when they came in feeling this anxiety through their body, a lot of times they felt it in their belly and they felt it in their stomach. And as they allowed themselves to express through the day and through the session, not the whole day, and hopefully it lasted through the day. And as they allowed themselves to express and to vent and to talk and to share and to feel, because very often underneath anxiety are other emotions like anger. And anxiety could be the cover up. And I will also tell you that anxiety is really, it's what happens underneath most issues like fear, anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder is really underneath it. And we have Marie saying, belly breathing is very grounding. Thank you, Marie, for sharing that. Yes, and that's the point, is learning to ground and to come back into present time. Because I talked about what's the difference between present, past, and future fear. The difference is when you're in fear, and remember, fear is a stress reaction. So if you're not in immediate danger or an immediate situation where danger has passed, like for example, I talked last show on there are times when I'm driving and all of a sudden it's like you're this close. I was this close to an accident. I could feel the stress reaction and it was going through my body, and I was like, I could feel my whole stress reaction going on. The heart rate, my heart was racing, my breathing shallow. I mean, it was just, and that happens when we're at a very close scare. And that can happen in present time. But if you're feeling fear or anxiety and you're in your house or you're in a safe place or safe enough, then your fear is past if it's triggering or something is being triggered post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, if you're worrying about the future, and a lot of times that's what anxiety is. What if this happens? And what if that happens? And what if? And I talked last week that there's actually studies that show that only 85, 90% fears, of worries actually happen. In the book, The Stress-Free Brain, the author, Melanie Greenberg, who's a clinical psychologist, said only 85% of things that you worry about actually do come true. So, all of that, the past and the future, fears or anxiety, that belly breath coming back into present time, being in awareness. So the next principle is all about clearing the energy. Because when you're in that reaction, it's being able to calm yourself down and come back to present time. And clearing the energy. And as I talk about this, I'm going to give you my quick Psych 101. And that is our conscious mind is the part of you that decided to tune in today. So thank you. And it is the part of you that makes conscious decisions and empowers you. Your subconscious mind is the part of you from the moment you were conceived to present time, and I include past lives in there, and ancestral trauma all can contribute to what's going on those other levels that you may or may not know about. It's under the surface. So clearing your energy is being able to calm yourself down and find ways that help you to ground yourself. Marie talked about that, being able to, that's what breathing does. It brings you back to present time so that you can feel more grounded. One of my favorite ways is noticing my body, noticing my breath. That's why I love belly breath. And also noticing my feet. And it brings me back into this moment in time. Now, clearing your energy. So I'd like to hear from those in the chat. What is your favorite way to clear your energy? And what I mean by clearing your energy, it's so that if you're in that emotional state of feeling that fear or feeling that anxiety, it's finding the ways that bring you back into present time. So that could be going out into nature, taking walks, doing exercise, and being able to bring yourself. Now, I really support people in doing meditation in the mornings to start your day in a positive spiritual way. And I think that that's really important to be able to help clear your energy. But I know that sometimes you may, if you're in that fear and anxious state, you're not able to calm yourself down, to even meditate. So you may want to do yoga, or maybe you want to do exercise, going for a run, and then trying meditation. And Wise Healings, Janelle, says going for walks outside is my favorite. And that's you connecting with nature and you being able to really experience the connection of being out in nature. And how many of you have heard about negative ions when you're near the water or near the beach or any nature? Trees are so grounding. So nature is a biggie. And exercise. A lot of times I will tell clients, like I have a client, Emma, and she comes in and she has a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear, and and she also can get really angry, and I support her. I support her in doing the self-care of being able to go to the gym in order for her to do that self-care, because that self-care is crucial for her to begin her day and start it in a positive way. Marie says, meditation is great for me, but what really works is just to remove myself from that space where I am feeling the fear. So, Marie, I would love to hear, what exactly do you mean by removing yourself from that space where you're feeling the fear? So, is there some kind of action or something that you do that you would be willing to share with us about how to help yourself get out of that fear space? And now the other thing is, and I talked about this before, is underneath anxiety and fear and many other conditions like OCD, stress. When you're feeling so stressed out and you're overwhelmed and your head is spinning, there may be other factors involved besides the stress in your everyday life. Now, many of you are having the stress in everyday life. Sometimes it could be from COVID. It could be from your transition. Maybe you're in the middle of a transition. Maybe you've moved. Maybe you're getting divorced or someone has passed. You're grieving. All of those things are transitional states that may increase the stress. And so then you need to find the way to clear yourself down. And also, what may be happening for you is post-traumatic stress disorder. And what happens is when you have that post-traumatic stress, it's finding the ways to clear it. So Sandy says, I pray and try to visualize happy times. And that is really important. So it's finding new things to do with your mind than hanging out in the fear and anxiety. And that's really important. So prayer is another powerful tool to help you come back into present time. And Marie shared example of what she was talking about before. If I am sitting in my office and I feel overwhelmed, I just get up and move to another area. Just moving my body changes the energy. Thank you so much, Marie, for that clarification. And so she wasn't only just talking about her mental space, she was talking about her physical space. And Marie said something and mentioned something very important about moving your body. And that is hugely significant. Moving your body actually does shift your energy. That's why I suggest exercise or yoga or something to move your body, perhaps even before you meditate. Or if you're someone that can go right into meditation and just be still, that's fantastic too. Whatever works for you. And Carol says, I like to shake, really shake it out. That's a great idea, Carol. Shaking it out, being able to just go like this, and just breathe and shake it out. And that actually is a wonderful way to clear the fear or anxiety. Again, it's moving your body. If you look at the word emotion, emotion is really energy that wants to move. energy in motion. So what happens is as you move the energy, you're able to shift the state that you're in. Carol says, smiling Nance, you go, wise woman. Thank you. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you. I just really want you to know thank you all for joining me. Whether you're listening live and in the chat or you're on the podcast listening at a later date on iHeart or Spotify, Pandora or Apple or one of the other sites. I am so grateful to you for joining me. So I really appreciate you. And so, what other ways can you clear the energy? And I want to share an example of Evelyn. Evelyn lived with fear. That was her constant default pattern. Because what happens is in your nervous system, you have default patterns. And the default patterns are what your brain, what your nervous system, what your body normally goes to. And it is possible to change. You can change. But it takes effort, it takes time, and it takes training your brain in new ways. And there's a term called neuroplasticity that researchers and scientists have talked about. And what neuroplasticity is that it's learning how to change the brain by changing the different pathways. So if you could imagine that your brain is driving down the same road. You're in the default pattern and you keep driving down that same road. Now, you know there are other ways to go, but you're so in the habit of going down the same road, you don't know how to change. And then one day, you're working on yourself and you're making changes. And then one day you say, you know what? I'm going to try a new road. And so you go down this new road and you realize the beauty and the nature, and it's just a wonderful road to go down. And that's what happens in your brain. What happens is you go down these same routes. Your nervous system it's like there's grooves in the brain. And then what happens is as you start making the changes, as you start training yourself to come back into present time, to find the positive things in life, to focus on perhaps the positive instead of the negative, you begin to start training your brain so that eventually you'll start going down the new road where there's beauty, because that's really the joy and the peace and the happiness, because that's what you want. And so it's retraining the brain and allowing yourself to retrain your brain. That's what it's about. And know that all of you can do it. So I was talking about Evelyn, and Evelyn had panic attacks. And she often had anxiety most of the time. And as we worked on healing her trauma, see, here's the thing. It's clearing the energy in present time, which is really important. And then there's clearing the trauma. Now, trauma can be an experience you had from childhood. And it could be pretty severe trauma like physical, sexual, or emotional abuse. Or it also could be developmental trauma. A lot of people don't realize that they have had developmental trauma. And that is simply like maybe you had separation anxiety and you were scared to separate from your mom. And so going to kindergarten was really hard for you. And that could create a trauma. And so it's learning how to go underneath and heal the trauma reactions. Now, some of you in adulthood have had trauma. Like, I really believe that COVID put many of us into a trauma state. And it's learning, Sandy, to retrain the brain. And what happens is when you retrain your brain and you go down those new neural pathways, when you're healing the trauma, you start changing the road that you're going on so that you can reframe, which is looking at something in a different way. And so that's what we did with Evelyn. We had her heal the trauma reaction. And what has started happening for Evelyn is now she is doing things that she has always wanted to do, but she was in such fear. She wasn't able to do them. And now she has and is doing things like driving to places that she wasn't willing to or able to before, or going and traveling to places that she wasn't able to before. And that's the power of healing the trauma and healing yourself. And so I'm going to give a few now. Actually, I want to do a sentence completion. So if you have a pen and paper, grab a pen, grab a paper. If you don't, and you don't have one available because you're in the car, then maybe you can come back on the podcast and do this exercise later, because this is an opportunity for you to get in touch with some things that will help you to understand yourself better. So Marie says, Marie says, I was taught to do a meditation where you imagine yourself inside your brain and you're looking out through your eyes to see things differently. It's awesome. Marie, thank you for sharing that. I love that. So I'm going to say that again for people, because actually that's a really cool exercise to try. So Marie says, I was taught to do a meditation where you imagine yourself inside your brain and you're looking out through your eyes to see things differently. It's awesome. So I invite you to try that. And what I really want to hear is I want to hear your feedback. Anything that I suggest on a show, I would love to hear how it works for you. You can go to my YouTube channel. You can post it on my Facebook page. And I'm remember, Nanci with an I, Nanci, and it's Deutsch, Deutsch. And if you Google my name and you want to find my business page on Facebook, or you go to YouTube, please tell me how things are if you're not listening live. And we've got Carol. Carol says, what does Carol say? Juan is posting it. Okay. Nanci, I love the way you relate to people. It is so unique and nurturing. Oh, thank you so much, Carol. I really, really appreciate you. And I appreciate that comment. My heart is, my vision is to really change this world and help create an inspired and empowered life for you and for all those around you and for this world. That's my vision. And thank you for joining me today. So, some tools to, Marie says, absolutely agree with Carol. Thank you so much. I am so grateful to all of you. Thank you. That's good. I feel touched. Okay, I have to breathe it in. See, it's learning. I'm still learning too on this journey, and learning to receive acknowledgement. So breathing it in is a way to receive acknowledgement. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So other tools, Allie. Allie's in the house. Group hugs for Nanci. Thank you. Thank you. Mwah. I love you all so much. I'm so glad for you to be here. So I was talking about sentence completions. You got me distracted, but that's okay. That's what it's all about. It's having all the fun. That's what I love. I'm having fun with all of you. And Wise Healings by Design says hug. She's sending me a hug. Thank you. Thank you. So let's do a sentence completion. Now, a sentence completion, what it is I'm going to say a sentence, and then you're going to complete whatever comes to your mind. You're not going to think about it, because if you're thinking about it, then it's not coming from your subconscious mind. This is to help you connect with subconscious issues, subconscious patterns. So the first sentence we're going to is help you to understand where your resistance, where you may not allow yourself to do clearing when you become aware. Remember the first step, and then it's doing the clearing, but you may not. So what stops me from clearing my energy is, I'm going to say it again. What stops me from clearing my energy is, and just allow yourself to write and to just really allow yourself to whatever comes to you, just let it flow, let it flow, let it flow, let it flow. And so it will really help you connect with what's going on in that subconscious mind of yours. And I know Sandy made a comment. Sandy says, me too. I'm so on the awesome Nanci wagon. Thank you. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you all. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm working on receiving. I feel your love, all of you. Thank you. That's what this is about. Sharing the love. So what stops me from clearing my energy is, so allow yourself to just eat. And if you're not able to do this right now because you're driving or you're doing something, maybe you're at work listening to this, come back coming back and be able to do this at another time. So Marie says, not always recognizing that I need to. Thank you, Marie. And that's why the first step is awareness, because we can't change something we're not aware of. So if you're in the state of the fear and anxiety and you're not in the awareness, like, oh my gosh, I can change this, that's the first step. That's why awareness is huge. So Sandy says, being busy, which I recognize as avoidance. So thank you, Marie. Thank you, Sandy. Being busy. And Sandy, thank you for that, because so often people do the busy thing and you don't even realize that you're in busy mode, to not allow yourself to feel, not allow yourself to deal with what's underneath, what's going on, dealing with your deeper levels of stuff. Now, here's the thing, and I also want you to know, and I am totally in support of you, reaching out if you have had trauma and you need support. You may need to reach out to a counselor or a therapist, or perhaps maybe you want to move forward, but you're so in fear that you don't know how to move forward. Then you want to call a coach. You want to connect with a coach. So know that all of those are possible. And it's really finding what works for you and being able to find a coach, a therapist, a counselor, or a healer that's going to help support you. If you know that you've had trauma and you need help through it, please reach out for help. And know that having help is courageous, is being courageous to actually reach out for that support. So Carol says, taking time for self-care, as I spend so much time assisting others to heal, that's huge. It's so crucial to take the time for self-care. Now, Allie says what keeps her from clearing her energy, all the self-care, is taking care of everyone else. Thank you, Allie. Thank you, Carol. If you are a giver and you are a person, a woman who is giving, 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 giving. If you are a coach, a healer, a therapist, an entrepreneur, and you are constantly giving out your energy, self-care, what Carol's talked about, is crucial, but it's learning. Remember, I talked about going down the different roads? It's learning to retrain your brain, because you have been trained to be a giver. And givers need to learn to retrain themselves for that self-care. And self-care, I have my motto, self-care is self-preservation. And what I tell my clients is, you've got to fill yourself up. You want to fill your well, you want to fill your cup up with yourself, with connecting and healing and being able to experience and feel better, calming the fear, calming the anxiety, coming back into present time. And when you do, when you're full, you're able to give from a very different place. And that's part of the learning opportunity. And wise healings by design. I put myself down. I've been having such a hard time getting myself to do certain things. I feel like I'm holding myself back for some reason. Thank you, Wise Designs, thank you, Janelle. I know who you are. And I really appreciate you sharing that. And you're not alone, because very often that's part of that groove. You put yourself down. Why am I not doing this? I know this is what I need to do. I can't even begin to tell you how many of my clients have come to see me through the years beating themselves up for what they're not doing, because they know they should be eating better. They know they should have healthy. They know they need to exercise. They know they should be taking actions to build their business, and they're not. And what happens is, it's because of what's going on in your subconscious mind. That's the deeper level of the clearing. It's the deeper level of healing those patterns so that you can start going down the different road. And it's all part of what needs to happen as you clear your energy. So different ways to clear your energy is, my favorite tools when I'm working with clients is I'll do emotional release work, which is getting you into the body. Because very often what happens is your mind is in busy mode. Da, 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 da. See, for those of you who are listening and not seeing me, I have my hands going up and down, and it's like the chit chatter, the mind chatter, chit chat. Your mind is going, you're spinning. I also call it spinning mode. When you're in that spin, your mind is in the spin, and you're in fear or anxiety. It's learning how to calm yourself down. And so the tools like being in nature, or by doing other self-care practices, help bring you back. So now we're going to do a sentence completion. The next one is, a way I can clear my energy is. A way I can clear my energy is. So if you're able to do it now, Take some time, just let it flow, let it flow. Let that deeper part of you help you connect with ways that can help you now. What can you do that will help you? And it may be being able to clear the trauma, being able to clear your energy, the deeper levels. And also it means on a day-to-day basis is bringing yourself back to present time, being in the awareness, using your breath, grounding, finding the ways to ground, taking time out for going into nature or exercise or whatever helps you, supports you. So the sentence again is, a way I can clear my energy is. And put in the chat if any of you would like to share what you came up with as you were doing the exercise. So and if you're listening to the recording or you want to go back to the recording, then pause it and allow yourself to do the exercise and then come back. A way I can clear my energy is. So allow yourself, a way I can clear my energy is. Allow yourself to just let it flow, and let whatever comes to you. So other ways to clear your energy. I have clients that I work with and I support them to do EFT, emotional freedom technique, which is tapping. Now I can model it because for those of you who are viewing it, tapping is tapping around your eyes, underneath your nose, underneath your chin, and on your collarbone. So all of those are ways to clear your energy. And you can go on YouTube and find people who are tapping people, emotional freedom technique. Even if you put in tapping and you use that is a tool you can use to clear your energy. And what tapping does is it brings you back to present time. It helps calm your nervous system down, which is what you need. And Carol says she's to start journaling on a regular basis. Thank you, Carol. That is huge. Journaling is a huge opportunity, being able to journal in the morning, which reminds me, I talk about the morning pages. Julia Cameron from The Artist's Way, and I love using this as a tool, and I coach clients to use this as a tool, is to do the morning pages where you just write down. You write down for three pages. The first things, it's like you're doing a brain dump. Whatever's coming up, whatever feelings, whatever emotions, whatever thoughts, just dump them all onto the pages. And after about 3 pages, you'll notice that you can calm down. Maybe then you can go into a meditation or do spiritual reading. Start your day in a spiritual way, a positive way. So all of that is possible when you allow yourself to give yourself the time and the energy. That's the self-care that's so crucial. So Marie says, doing figure 8 on my face, kind of like tapping. I never heard that, Marie. That is interesting. So doing a figure 8 on your face. All right. Well, I mean, that's interesting. I find that fascinating. Never heard that, but that's a very interesting, trying to do a figure 8 on your face. I guess around your eyes and over. So that's a cool look. You know what? That's what I want. I want to give you tools. And I really appreciate everybody in the chat room sharing with the audience, sharing with everyone their tools, because when you share your tools, you're really making a difference for other people that are listening to this or viewing this in the future. So I really want to thank you for being in the chat and sharing and Again, you're welcome to join us. We love to have you. So another way is drawing an art. And you don't have to be an artist, because this is about expressing yourself through creative outlets, drawing, painting, coloring, using crayons. I have had clients, I'll call one of my clients, Selma. What Selma was, she had a lot of issues, a lot of things that were coming up that were coming from earlier in her life, her childhood trauma. And a lot of your trauma does come from childhood and your past conditioning. And it's learning to work with that child inside to help you heal that. And sometimes what I do with a client is I have them write or draw, taking a crayon and just allowing themselves to express. And there was a lot of anger, and she took the red crayon and just scribbled and breathe while you're letting it out. Breathe. Just letting it out of your body, moving the body like we said before. And so it's really another tool for you to use. So we've got writing, journaling, breathing, exercising, tapping. We've got the figure eights, and Marie has something else. It's exactly the way you did it. It really works. Okay, so I did it right. So it's over the eyes, right around the eyes, the figure eight around the eyes. Thank you, Marie. I love it. That's great. So the tools that you can use, and of course there's meditation and prayer, all of the things that we talked about today. And so all of those are possibilities to clear your energy. And I will tell you that we're going to continue this. We're going to do part 3, because this is such a huge topic. So next week, join me live on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern on w4wn.com or talk4tv.com. And if you want to join in the chat and go on into YouTube, you click view live, and that will take you into the YouTube where you can join in the chat. And love to hear from you in whatever way you connect with me. And I really want to thank you for tuning in, whether you're doing it live or on the podcast or on YouTube at a later time. I just really want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. And I wish you all an inspired and empowered day and an inspired and empowered week. Have a great one, everybody. Goodbye for now.